Hello, everybody. Welcome to Taz 505. Welcome to the channel if you're new, or welcome back if you're a lovely subscriber. Today, I'm going to be continuing my top 100 album series. And before I begin, I'm just going to give my usual shout outs. Of course, I had to give a shout out to my friends over in the Music Junkies. Thank you very much. Just love the support you guys have been giving me over my channel. Of course, I love to give support on your channels as well. So, thank you. And of course, uh, I got to give even more special shout outs to Jacob Martin and Ryan Cam. They've also, not only have they been watching these, but they've also been listening to the albums as well. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate that very much. And well, let's get started. Actually, before I get started, I also want to give two shout outs to Scott from Sound Life Studios and Jason from Jason Neil Millennial. They've also been doing their top 100 albums on their channel, so check those out. Now let's begin. This is album number 24, a quick one by The Who, released December 9th, 1966. This is the first Who on the list, so yeah, so this is the first appearance of The Who on my list. That's crazy to think how far they made in my list. So yeah, pretty high up on my list. I mean, they're like one of my favorite bands of all time. So that's like, man, I love them to death. Uh, this is like a kind of a this is kind of like the next step in the direction. They fire Shell Tommy. They get another producer, uh, which I'll go into right now. Kit Lambert. Uh, Kit Lambert would, they would he would end up being their manager, and of course, he was a manager of other artists like Crazy World of Arthur Brown, Jimi Hendrix. So uh, even John Lennon and Yoko Ono, he was a producer of, I should say. So what makes this album interesting? What makes it interesting about this album is that this is the first album to have John Entwistle write songs, because on the first album, My Generation, he didn't write any of the songs on the album. It was just Pete Townsend and three covers, two James Brown and one Bo Diddley cover. But this one, we got two John Entwistle, two John Entwistle, uh, uh, can't think right now. Pretty much two John Entwistle songs, two Keith Moon tracks on the album, and one Roger Daltrey track on the album. So putting that up, that's 5 out of the 10 songs on the album that wasn't written by Pete Townsend. As for Pete Townsend, though, he wrote 4 out of the 10 songs on the album, and there is one cover on the album. So this is the most we will ever get to all 4 of the members writing songs on the album, because after this, Keith Moon wouldn't write anything after this album, and Daltrey would not write anything after this album either. John Entwistle will end up contributing more to The Who, so it ends up working out. But it's interesting to hear uh, Keith Moon and Daltrey get like basically 3 songs on the album for those two, because they're not really. I won't consider them be big songwriters. Keith Moon's the drummer and Daltrey's the singer, and so I don't really consider them to be writing geniuses by any means. But without further ado, let's get right into the album. Actually, let's get into the let's get into the songs. So we open up the album with "Run, Run, Run." This is the first song, and this is the first song with Pete Townsend writing on it. This is a great song on the album. This is definitely sounds like the early Who from My Generation. The rough and gruffness of it, but there's a little bit of psychedelicness to it, because they kind of go a little crazy on the instrumentation, but it's Sounds like the maximum R&B of the first album, but with what the sound that they were trying to come up with, because music's changing. 8 Miles High, Tomorrow Never Knows by the Beatles, so they're trying to catch up with the psychedelic bandwagon, kind of. Boris the Spider, first Entwistle song, and I love it. I love the Boris the Spider. It's a great song. Uh, I Need You, the third song on the album. This is the first Keith Moon song on the album, and he sings lead vocals on it. It's interesting to hear him sing lead vocals because at first you would think this is Pete Townsend singing, but no, it's actually Keith Moon singing, which kind of blow kind of weird at first, but I get used to it. It's a pretty good song. I find it to be another really great song on the album. Get a little sip there. Uh, Next song on the album, Whiskey Man, uh, written by Entwistle. Of the two Entwistle songs, this is my favorite. This is a great song on the album. Very, very underrated. I love the storytelling about a guy who who thinks he's looking at who he meets a whiskey man, even though there's no such thing as a whiskey man, and people think he's crazy, and then they bring him into the psyche ward pretty much like in the crazy house, and it's like, can the whiskey man come? And it's like, nope, there's no room for the whiskey man. So I've loved the storytelling on here. It's another one of my favorite Who songs. Heat Wave. I love this song. It's a great cover. Uh, fun cover at that. Get Daltrey and Pete Townsend singing. Mostly Daltrey, but I love this song. Definitely a song that I've always enjoyed on the album. A great cover, by the way. Cobwebs and Strange. The last Keith Moon track you'll ever see on an album written by him, and it's an instrumental, and I will say it's pretty crazy, very, very out there. Balls to the walls. Not your average Keith Moon track. I mean, not your average Who song. This is average for Keith Moon, but not for the Who. This I wouldn't say this is like a top 5 on the album. If anything, I'd say, of course, this is by default the weakest song on the album, but I find this to be pretty fun. I've always really enjoyed it. Side 2, Don't Look Away. Get another Townsend track after, like, besides Run Run Run, like, first side is dominant by other songwriters. Like, Townsend only got one song on the first side. Now you get another Townsend written song, and another fun pop, a great fun pop song. A lot of people consider this to be like some kind of throwaway song. I disagree. I really like this song. Don't Look Away. Don't look away. Don't look away. Great song. See My Way. This is the only Daltrey song that you'll ever see on a Who album that's written just by him. And it's interesting. It's like Daltrey getting a writing credit on a Who song, and I'm gonna say it. I actually really like this song. It's another fun pop song. Someday, one day, I'll try to find a way to make you see my way. Tried so hard to make you understand my point of view. I really like this song. It's such an another killer underrated Who song. So Sad About Us. This song's great. So sad about us. Bum, 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 bum. Sad. Bum, 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 bum. Love that song. Quick one. To keep it brief, it's a story about a girl whose husband or her lover was supposed to come home but never came home, and now she took it upon herself to cheat on her lover with the truck driver, and it's an epic song. It's one of my favorites on the album. But yeah, I actually really like this song. Top 5 though. Number 5, I'm gonna go with So Sad About Us. Number 4, um, I'm gonna go with a tricky. Number 4, I'm gonna go with Don't Look Away. Number 3, Whiskey Man. No. Number 3, Heat Wave. Number 2, Whiskey Man, and number 1, A Quick One Always Away. If you have any thoughts on the album, leave it in the comments below. Besides that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. So long.